Abby, are you able to hear me? Abby, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, Abby's muted. Okie dokie. Thank you for checking in. I was like, I can't hear anything. What are you giggling
I'm
about?
like so excited when I can figure out the technology. It never gets old. Like, yay, I muted myself.
All right, cool.
Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? Good summer so far, I hope.
Yep, pretty tired.
Looks like a few more people are jumping on. We'll give it another minute or so, and then we'll get started. The screen just keeps going. Boop, 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 boop. Candace has a cat's tail. So cute. Okay, there's two Emilys. Emily, how have you reproduced yourself? That's pretty awesome. You look pretty. Amber looks amused.
My computer froze and I had to go back in. So I don't know. Maybe I'm there twice.
All right, let's see. All right. Can everybody hear me? We good? Yeah, why can't I hear y'all?
Because we're all muted.
Wendy, can I hear you?
I don't know. I can hear you.
I don't hear anybody.
You
I
guys
muted
are all
myself.
muted.
I just
Oh,
unmuted
okay.
myself.
No, but I couldn't even hear Wendy.
Oh.
Do you have
Okay,
your volume up?
I got it. I just figured it out. Yay, the victories. Okay. Hi, everybody. I just want to welcome you to our call. We're going to keep this one to probably about a half an hour, hopefully. We know it's summertime, and sometimes you still might have a little bit of time you want to go sit out on the deck or, watch a movie or what have you. Just enjoy. But we are really excited about tonight's call. Wendy has just come back from 4 days of training, was it? Wendy, was it 4 days?
3 days.
There's her certificate. So she was out at corporate. When you become an emerald, you get very specified training. And she just was surrounded by 29 other emeralds, and she got some incredible training from Sarah Marble and some others, as well as got to sit down with some of the executives, as well as some of the developers and some of the products. Got to ask a lot of questions. So she's got some secrets. When we talked yesterday, I was just blown away with some of the things that she was sharing. And so she's excited to bring it back to us. And then we also just wanted to share with you guys just some tips for really being successful throughout the summer. The summer can be a time of great growth for you, or it can be a time where your business just kind of goes, and it's all dependent on what you do. So we just want to share some secrets of what we've seen to really keep you going during those summer months. So with that, we're going to start with Wendy sharing a little bit about some things that she learned about our company's culture and just how it is actually being there surrounded by the employees of Plexus. So Wendy, could you go ahead and share a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So I've been waiting all week to be able to see you guys, to see each one of you, and be able to share. I have always had an incredible belief in the products because of what they did for me personally. So the products and believing in that, totally something that you have to do. And the way to do that is using them and also reading other people's testimonies. So get your belief in your product so that it is unshakable. The next one is you need to have belief in yourself, right? The fact that you have something to offer that no other company has, no shelf has at Walmart, Target, whatever. You have something that is life-changing for people. And so imagine if someone was next to you, you didn't know this person, they're a stranger, and they're like, oh man, I got this blood here, and I'm gonna wipe it off. I need a Band-Aid. If you had a Band-Aid in your wallet or in your purse, you'd be like, oh yeah, here you go, I got one. They've got bigger issues, and we have a better Band-Aid, but yet we're afraid to offer it because they might not like my Band-Aid. Well, guess what? Offer it anyway, because it might be the next thing that they're looking for. belief in myself that I can offer something amazing, belief in the products. And here is where the last 4 days, it took me so like sky high, my belief in this company. So first of all, one of the things that Plexus does not do is look at price tags. When they decide that they're going to bring us out and give us training, someone had asked, I guess it was Steve, why do I not write names down? He's a big guy. Steve, it's going to come.
It's okay. We'll figure it out. One of our greens will figure it out.
Yes.
Just go ahead.
Something of marketing, and he actually spoke at convention. Anyway, he said, if our ambassadors are going to give everything they have for us, why would we not give everything we have to them? They don't even look at the cost. They just say, we need to bring them out. We're going to put them up in a great hotel. We need to be able to feed them meals. We're going to give them great meals. I mean, nothing is done halfway. That's the first part. So they pour into us knowing that we pour right back out for them. So on Friday, we had training in the morning, and the training that I was with, Sarah Marble, Jennifer Leith, amazing. There was Sheila Medina, and the other one's going to come to me in a moment, but Sheila Medina just poured into us about where she started with the company, and she started literally with the breast check kit.
She was the first diamond in Plexus.
She was the first emerald.
And Sarah Marble was one of the early ones on too. If you guys can find her videos on YouTube, she's amazing training videos if you haven't seen them.
So these two women, if Sheila Medina drew out her, basically the kind of like the family tree of, there was somebody above her that was selling breast check kits. Sheila Medina said, I need to do this, and wanted to sign up. She called like every week for 5 months. Hey, can I sign up yet? And they're like, no, we don't know how to do that. No, we're being bought out. We don't know how to do that. She finally said, I need these things. So it goes, these people at the top, Sheila, and then next to Sheila is Sarah Marble. And then all of a sudden, Sheila's line is like forever and ever. She has so many people because she really was the beginning of this. But anyway, she started with no manuals, no videos, no back office website like what we have, and she built an amazing team. So for those of us that are coming in with all of this material and all of these training things, take advantage of them, because you are coming in light years ahead of what she had. There is not one excuse of, well, I don't have the right training. Well, I didn't learn enough from. That's the first thing, that we have amazing training opportunities. Second, the things that they are developing for us in our back office for shareables, they are completely compliant. Don't try and reinvent the wheel. Don't get yourself in trouble, because compliance also came and talked to us, and they really are watching our back. If something happens and they had to pull Plexus or pull, something away from us, we would be without these products. Drop a 1 in your little comments box if you would never want to be without your products, right? So you can just hit that right down there. Comments, I'm going to hit a 1, because I'm going to tell you, I never want to be without my products. So there is no excuse for training pieces, okay? It's out there for you, and it's all in your back office. So after we did the training with her in the morning, they put us on this brand new, fabulous coach bus, and they take us to corporate. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything that happened, because some of it is for your eyes only when you actually become an emerald and get to walk in and experience it. So I don't want to ruin that surprise for you. But we went in, we got to meet our coaches, our personal coaches. Cindy Latham came out. She's the one that talks about the products and shares everything that's going on. She came out and spoke with us a little bit. And then they took us on a tour of the headquarters. We ate lunch there, a box lunch, and then at about 2:15 to 3 o'clock every Friday, all of the employees, from the call center, the jewel lines, everything, refunds, everybody comes into the center of the office. At the beginning of each week, each employee is given a ticket. They put their name on it. They can either hold on to that ticket for a couple of weeks or put it into this old drum that they're spinning the crank, right? So between 2:15 and 3, all of them come together, and either a CEO or Steve almost came to me. They draw names, and not just one name. They draw, I think they pulled like 10 people's names that day. So they pull a name. How cool is this that these people that are in the top of they are the CEO, they are the top guys. And he says, okay, Karen, whatever it is. And he looks and he sees where she is and he's like, there you are, come on down. He knows their face. This is a big company, several hundred employees. She comes running down. All of the rest of the employees are standing there cheering for her. It was like a game show. She comes running down to the center. And then he says, okay, hey, good to see you. Great job. Everybody's got a favorite movie. What's your favorite movie? She gives the favorite movie title. And he says, okay, go and spin the wheel. They have a money wheel. The money wheel, I think, started around $50, goes up to $200, and it also has little sections that say double. So as she's walking over there, all of the rest of the employees are yelling, double, double, double. If it lands on double and they spin it again, and whatever the dollar amount is, it's doubled. They do this for like 10 people. And each time, everybody is just cheering and clapping like they are winning thousands of dollars. They're happy. They're having a great time. The last person comes down and he's like, okay, let's make a deal. In this envelope, $150. I can give you this, or you can spin and see if you can double it, or make more. They started screaming. Now, I was trying to do a live video, but it was hard to get any kind of service down there. But they started yelling, all around us. Some were yelling, take the money, take the money. Some were yelling, spin, go for it. They were having a blast. They were having a great time. So when they finished, and they just walk up, there's a table, and they had a couple of workers that were giving them, they had a choice of cash or gift cards. And they would just write it out, hand it to them. So then at the end, as they were going back to their seats, kind of weird. You don't think you would walk into a corporate office and walk up and say thank you to somebody, introduce yourself to somebody, and hug them, and they wouldn't look at you really weird. They were the warmest, happiest employees ever. So a woman was coming towards me, and she was standing on one side, and another woman, kind of the same age as me, on the other side. And I said, so I'm guessing you guys have worked other places. How does Plexus compare? And both of them could not tell me fast enough. Oh, hands down, this is the best place I've ever worked for. They treat us well. It is the greatest place. And the atmosphere was just as warm. It was that fun. So the one woman, she was like, oh, and this is my boss. And so I met her. Her name is Deborah Green. And Deborah says, oh, yeah, we're in refunds. Oh, just
Wait, can I pause you real quick, Wendy, before you go on?
Yep.
So, I don't know about you guys. I know I've worked at so many different places. When Wendy was telling me this, it just encompassed for me what I see in terms of ambassadors as well. People are happy to be here. Nobody's forcing you to be here. Everyone wants to be part of something big and something great. Treat each other well, support each other, never talk bad, just all of these things. And it's so true. It goes from corporate on down. It just makes me so proud to be part of a company that their employees feel so valued. Can you imagine wanting to be at work on a Friday? Like wanting to go in at work on a Friday, not just because you might get something, but also because you're going to cheer on your colleagues. Yeah. And, didn't you say there was some woman who's won $400 in the past month or something like that?
That was one of the, I think actually it was one of the coaches.
Yeah. But that just says to me, like, they understand, we always at all these jobs that we've had in our lifetime, we always say, oh gosh, I wish the boss would value me, or I wish they'd make this a more fun place to work, or I wish that they would do this. And it makes me so proud that they're doing that, no matter whether someone is, whatever level they're at, whether in the call center, whether they're, whatever department they're in. It just makes me really proud. So go ahead. Sorry about the other girl.
The other things. So a couple of our coaches started in the call center, then they were in compliance, and then from compliance they moved up to a liaison, and then they moved up to coach. So there's even room for growth. These people are not just saying, oh, well, I'm at the bottom. And there's young, there's old. There was such a variety of people employed there. It was really awesome. So this woman, Deborah, comes over, and she said, I'm from refunds. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And I hugged her. And I said, I have a question for you. I had an issue with an ambassador that I have been saying. customers and ambassadors, you have a 60-day money-back guarantee. That means 2 months worth of products, you call. If you didn't like it, you get your money back. Well, I had an ambassador that called and said, it's not for me. I want to get my money back. And they said, okay, you can get 1 month worth. That's not what I was selling, right? So I asked Deborah, I said, I need clarification. Is it correct? Is it not correct? And she said, no, everybody gets the same. But you have to specify when that person calls, it has to be within the 60 days. So let's say it was May and June. We're going to make sure that we call before the end of June and say we would like to get the money back for both May and June. You get it all. And I said, oh, man, that's a bummer because I said, I'm really upset because this ambassador did what she was supposed to, and it didn't work out that way. The customer service didn't understand and told her no. So I went ahead and said, I'll buy it from you because I felt so guilty. And she goes, oh, no. What's this person's name? And I was, at this time, my tour was moving on and I had to leave. And I'm like, oh, I got to go. She's, no, what's the last name? I told her the last name. It was not like Smith. So I told her the last name. Cheryl, hang on 1 second. But she asked me what the last name was. She said, okay, I got it. She walked away and my tour went on. At the end of the tour, they take us all back downstairs because it's a 2-level building. And they took a group picture of us so that, just for us to have that. And Deborah Green found me. She didn't know my name. She just knew my face. She came down and said to me, hey, I want to let you know I took care of it. I was like, what? And she goes, I went and found her. She called me on June 6th. She should have gotten it. I've taken care of it. The refund will happen by, in the next 5 days. And she said, here's my email address. Contact me if you need anything. It blew me away that she's willing to give me her name and her contact information and saying, this is it. I want you to be able to contact me. So I'm going to be contacting her specifically about welcome packs and 7-day trials, just to make sure that we have an exact from the boss what the information is about those refunds. Okay, so that's the first thing that just really, I was so amazed. I was so amazed that they took care of us like that. Okay, just the whole atmosphere that they had there. There was, a big old thing of pink drinks sitting out, and they were having a great time with us. So I had such a good time with that. All right, who's typing?
Hey, excuse me, Wendy. Hey, Abby, if you could mute.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was trying to answer Cheryl's question. I'll mute myself while I type it.
Right.
Sorry.
Right. So imagine, just for the sake of the 60-day refund, if I try the products in May and I'm still on them in June, before my 60 days from that first order, okay, I need to decide if I'm going to stick with it or not, okay? Now, I always get people, I say, I need 90 days from you. The first month is a wash. The next 2 months are what we're going to be looking at, okay? So I want to make sure that before we get to the end of the 60 days, so this would have been like April would be the wash, May and June, before that 60-day time hits, I want to make sure that they call so that they get both months. They can't call on the 29th and then call on the 30th. It has to be on the same phone call, the same request. That was the word from Deborah Green, okay? Because, and the reason why, you can request a refund for one product. Now, it doesn't, and yes, it is rolling. It doesn't matter if it happens, whatever the 60-day window is, though. You can't request a refund on a triplex and then the next day request a refund on a triplex again. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me hang on 1 sec.
Okay, I wanted to put that in writing, but also explain it. So basically, like what I've had happen is, say I've had someone who maybe tried the triplex and was not satisfied with it. Say they tried it for 4 months. After 4 months, they're like, you know what, I'm not feeling it. It's not working for me. And I say, okay, well, let's try some other products to address your needs. We call in, we get them the last 60 days refunded. So say they tried it January, February, March, April. I might call back, the beginning of May, and they can get their April and their March refunded. And then I say, okay, well, we're not going to do triplex anymore, but instead we're going to try blah, 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 blah. They try that for another 90 days. They go, you know what? I'm not happy with that either. They can still get those products refunded. Okay. They just can't be like, oh, well, now I'm going to try triplex again in September and October. Oh, I'm not happy with it again. You can only have one refund on one set of products. Now, one thing that's wonderful about that is this really gives you the opportunity to tweak things with people. If there's some combination they're not liking, you can swap one out. So say they maybe didn't like, the Slim, for example. And you say, well, instead of Slim, we're going to do the X Factor and we're going to add in the Vital Biome. So then they're doing those. And a lot of times what it ends up happening is I have never had people that have multiple refunds, to be honest. It's usually like there's something they're not happy with, and then they come back later and we find a different combination. So don't worry about that. It's just kind of like it's really helpful because you can say, you know what, you really have an assurance that you're going to be okay trying this, because people tend to think, oh, I've got my one refund. You really don't. You can try, even this is for y'all too. You can try every product in the line.
Right.
And if you end up not being satisfied with one or two of them, you can get a refund on it. So, for people, we always say, every month maybe try to add on one product, because what happens is if you're not using the products, you oftentimes are only referring people to the things that you use because you don't have a reference point for it. So let's say you're like, next month I'm going to add on Accelerator and see if I like it. Well, say it doesn't work for you. You do it for 60 days. It's not working for you. Get a refund on the Accelerator and say, well, now I'm going to try the Boost. You can do that. You can do or now I'm going to try the Edge or what have you. So this is for you guys as well, because we really do want you trying multiple products and you getting the benefits from them, but also helping people with them as well.
The issue is, for example, I'm hearing myself. That's coming through Abby's.
Muting.
Yeah. The issue is that, let's say that May, my ambassador tried these two and called at the beginning of June and wanted the refund on this. And then the next order came in and she goes, well, no, I don't want that. So I need to get the refund. That you can't do. That's what I'm saying. You have to request it both at the same time. So you have them go through the 60 days, choose those 60 days, and those, like all four of these would be refunded if it's requested at the same call, the same time. Does that make better sense with our visual? Okay.
And one other thing too that I've had to come back, when you get those people that drop off the face of the earth and stop communicating with you, and you are trying to tell them, that they have their money back, but they won't even answer. I've had people come back and I'm like, I wish you had answered me. I'm so sorry. You could have had a refund on this. And I have had people that have been like, oh, darn, that was my fault. I should have done that. I wish I had listened. And then they end up coming back on the products. But that's one thing that you can say when you're trying to encourage people to stay in contact with you is, we do have this money back guarantee, and I'm going to want to explain to you how that works. So we need to stay in good communication with one another, so that if at some point you're not satisfied, I can help you. I'm not going to be offended by it, but I want you to stay in communication so I can help you get that refund. Your money is important to me. And that kind of gives them another push to talk to you, to answer your texts.
It's amazing how quickly the time goes. So any more questions on that, you can post them in here and we can look at them and answer them, or send them in the group message or in a group and we can answer those. Something else very cool is that they give us a dinner the last night. So that was Friday night. Went back to the hotel, had the rest of our training, and then went to a really nice dinner. And they have some people from corporate come. And so at my table, I had Cindy Latham and one of the scientists. He was in the department over at Johns Hopkins, and then got hired over to Plexus. And he was the one in that group developing the new products. And they sat at my table. So all of these other blues were all, oh, who am I going to sit with? Who am I going to sit with? And this little yellow, I found my friend that, I made a really, really couple of great friends. They always say, you're going to make all these great friends here, but I'm kind of the one that I would like to meet a couple of people and really get to know them deeply. And so there was one girl that I really, really enjoyed talking with her. And we chose a table that wasn't totally full. Well, all those blues filled up all the chairs. My table had a spot for the scientist and for Cindy Latham, and they came and sat and had dinner with us. And he was excited to talk about products and about, why they're so amazing, and the fact that we've got this patent pending because they're going to be ours. No one else is going to be able to take them and say, oh, well, this is just as good. Name theirs the pink drink. And so we really got a chance to talk about a couple of the different things. And there were a couple of questions that have come up often. One of them is, the vital biome, can it be taken with the ProBio at night? Because they can't take it at night. And the scientist, he just was like, the only reason why you wouldn't really want to do that is because the vital biome is flooding, the system with good stuff. The ProBio 5 is killing stuff, which is releasing toxins, and that's going to cause some stomach upset. Had nothing to do with destroying the probiotics. He said it's more about a gut, you don't want them to get sick. So when we asked Cindy Latham and him both saying, what about taking ProBio 5 with BioCleanse? No problem. Don't make this so complicated. She said it's better in than out. There are so many good things in each of the products, and they are done so well that even if it's slightly, if you take some of it out, it's still going to be amazing as you get it in. So we don't have to do this whole, well, you're going to take this one at 3:30 p.m. and then 3:34, I want you to open the bottle, but don't take it yet. And then at 3, no, this is going to be a nice, it's better in than out. There's no issue. You're not going to get sick unless it's too much in their stomach. We asked about, I asked specifically, I said, is it die-off? We're taking the Slim. I was tired for 2 weeks, people. 2 weeks. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't stand this. And I said, so I went down to half a packet. And she sat there and she said, you need to start people slowly. This stuff is powerful. And everybody responds differently. So start them on half a packet. And then if that one works good, then they can go up. If they start to have some symptoms, it goes back down. I said, well, are those symptoms die-off? No. The enzymes are killing things. That's from the ProBio 5. This is different. This is a balancing act that happens. And so as the good is getting fuller, the bad is being crowded out. It's not being killed necessarily. It's just being crowded out. I don't know how it's going to get out of there, but she said the ProBio 5 is the biofilm that needs to be taken care of. So it's, again, they're saying, it's okay if you take those things together. You can take the Vital Biome with your X Factor Plus. It's okay. So we don't want to have this whole, we just kept pounding and going, okay, so we can take this. Can you open the Vital Biome capsule? She said, absolutely. You wouldn't open it and pour it in something and leave it for a day. You're going to open it, and you're going to take it pretty quickly. It might lose a little bit of potency, but there's so much in it that you're going to be fine.
Wendy, share why they put things in capsules with Plexus, not, what do you call it?
Yeah, so tablets. She says, here's why we use capsules only. And it's because, first of all, it's, they're vegetarian, and we want it to be, we want the product inside to be what you're getting, the ingredients, what you're getting. Anytime you're taking a tablet or one of the, any of those things, they have to use a lot of other ingredients like synthetic that are going to bind it. It has to have binding ingredients. And so to make it hard enough so that it doesn't, come apart in the bottles. And so your body is supposed to digest that, and it really doesn't recognize it as food or as a nutrient. So you end up having other stuff in your system that you shouldn't have. So, I was just looking at confused. But anyway, so they use capsules so that it can be digested and there's not an issue with how that's going. Next question I asked was, wow, people are saying, what about, they're allergic to watermelon or they're allergic to something that's in the new Slim. And the scientist told me, he said, in the process of getting the extract out of fruits, it goes through a process that actually has alcohol. There's there was an alcohol base for extraction. That kills the protein, and our allergies are usually a reaction to the protein in the product or in the food. So it's taking it out. He says, so if someone has a reaction, they drank the Slim that day and they break out into a rash, or they have a stomach ache. He says, you don't just look at it and say, oh, it was the product for sure. His suggestion is, so don't drink it for a couple of days. Let that rash or whatever go away. Let the stomach ache go away. and introduce like a third of a packet or a fourth of a packet and try that. And if there's no reaction, go to half. If they do still have a reaction with a quarter or a half, then maybe it is that product. And that's okay, because we still have Vital Biome. We still have, the omegas. We have enough products that they don't have to quit Plexus just because they couldn't drink that pink.
And Wendy, isn't it also, if they're having an issue possibly with the Slim, that it might be a gut health issue that needs addressed prior to the introduction of the Slim? They might need to go to ProBio and BioCleanse for a little while, get things moving that way, and then Slim oftentimes can be reintroduced. Am I correct on that still?
Right. So they can start with the Slim. One of the things that I was asking Cindy Latham about was, I said, wow, just people who are getting bloated, people who are having issues with bloating or weight gain. And she immediately said, when those toxins are being released, they're going out into cells, and if they're not being eliminated properly, it is getting caught back up into those fat cells. If you're not used to drinking that much water, your body takes on the water, it takes on the toxins, and basically protects you from what those toxins are doing. So it might feel like you're bloated. So again, she said, everything, just start slow. And if you're on the Slim, she actually said, if you're on the Slim and noticing some discomfort or you're just not feeling great, back down on the ProBio 5. She didn't say to quit the Slim. She said, back off on the ProBio 5. So do the Slim, add the cleanse until you are eliminating properly, and then start adding the ProBio 5 in slowly, because these things are so much more, like, they're seeing more benefits and it's more powerful.
Yeah, one of the things that is always, since Wendy and I first started, is you want to have people having regular movements, getting everything cleaned out before you start doing anything that could be killing off, anything that could cause constipation, anything that's going to cause any sort of diabetes. If they're not going regularly, they're not going to have a great experience when they add that ProBio in. So don't rush to add the ProBio in if someone's saying, oh, well, I'm still not eliminating properly. Don't do it. Get them cleaned out, even if they're just on BioCleanse for a week before you add the ProBio in, or a week and a half, or however much. Get them up to that 4 to 6 a day dosage. Cannot stress that enough. That's how most of you have probably been told, if you've been passed on from what I say to people, how I've trained, is get that BioCleanse in there. So Wendy, can we change gears now? We're getting to about 5 more minutes left. We're going to give some tips for summer success. And guys, it's a really big secret that you already know the answer to. Wendy and I were talking a lot about this, and basically it is rediscover your why. Why are you doing this? Summer, oftentimes, I know for me, I've had, I started my business in the summer 3 years ago. Last summer, I did take a little bit of time off. A lot of people on the team did. Last year's growth was really slow during the summer on our team. Just seemed like across the board, everyone was just kind of enjoying themselves and vacationing. I know I did a lot of that too, but there was just a lot of kind of happening. And after a lot of reflection and Wendy's training and just us talking about stuff, it's because we forgot why we're doing it. To some people, it became another thing on their to-do list, and they didn't want to have to do it. Other people just kind of got out of the habit of, other people just didn't quite realize the importance of being consistent in talking to people and in reaching out, and that in them not doing that, they were no longer helping people. And if you go back to what your why is, for many of us, our why is, who can we help? A lot of us signed up going, I want to help my cousin, or I want to, aside from ourselves, once that attracted us. But I've had people that say, I'm doing this because I want my best friend on these products. I know Julia is on the call. That's one of the things that got her going, is she wanted her best friend to get healthy. And so she joined so she could get her best friend to join. So there's all sorts of whys. It's maybe, I want to be out of debt within 6 months, for this particular credit card that I never should have spent on, or I want to be able to put my kid in gymnastics in the fall. And what Wendy did is she actually just posted in the team page about 2 hours or so before the call. And it's a really cool worksheet. I'm going to let her share just a little bit about that. And then we're going to ask 2 people to quickly share their why. We're going to give you a volunteer of why you're doing it, and how this ties into really making your summer successful. So Wendy, do you want to do a split screen on that?
I don't have mine pulled up, so I'm just actually going to show you.
Actually, I can see if I can do it. No, I can't do it. I am not that competent.
Okay. There is a file that I've added to Abby's team page, and you'll see up here that my goal is Sapphire, and I want to have that by convention, okay? So I said Sapphire March 29th, because when we go out and celebrate, I don't want it to be on the 31st. But anyway, the cool thing about this page, this is not so much the why page, this is going to be goals. And I'm going to be the first one to say that I'm not the best at setting goals, because I'm just lazy, okay? I am lazy. And if it wasn't that I was being lazy, it was out of fear, that I didn't want to fail. So I'm not going to set a goal, because then if I don't hit it, or if I choose not to do it. So there are a couple of things that I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to download. I want you to print this off, and I want you to write on it, okay? And the biggest thing I want you to pay attention to is, what is your goal? What's the benefit of reaching that goal? So if you just say, oh, I want to be gold, or I want to be silver, or I want to be senior gold, why? What's the benefit? So I want you to be able to do that. As you reach levels, and you guys are leaders, the minute you sponsor somebody, as soon as you reach a level, somebody under you or around you who may not even be in the business looks at you and goes, oh, I can do this. I've seen that person do it. I can do this. And it builds belief in people around you. So that's really important. So the benefits of achieving the goal is for others, but what will it benefit you? And the obstacles. I want you to think about what are the things that are blocking you from reaching that goal. And you need to be honest. We're not looking and checking on those unless you're on a coaching call with one of us. But the obstacle for me, is fear of not being the leader that I'm supposed to be. What if I can't lead a group at the Sapphire level? What if, maybe I'm just disorganized? So I'm going to put my obstacles in there so that I can then talk with my upline and say, okay, help me with some solutions. Now, she's not going to give me solutions. I'm going to give myself the solutions, and I'm just going to bounce them off of my upline and say, does this make sense? And they're going to help me just by encouraging and say, yeah, that's a great idea.
And when you when you do the obstacles, that brings your why back to focus. Because
Yes.
For me, mine was I didn't have support at home. I had 2 little kids running around. I've been working all day. I was a single mom. I didn't have the, hey honey, can you watch my kids for watch the kids for a few minutes so I can take care of this? Or, I just felt very overwhelmed with my life in a lot of ways. And I had to go back to my why. My why was I wanted to be able to be in control of my life and have more time for my kids so that I wasn't having to put them to the side so I could get stuff done. It was like a temporary pain for a long-term gain. So as you're doing the goals, you keep coming back to why am I doing this? And I know Wendy's is probably not going to say this, but one of the things that she has is she wants to be able to give back financially to a lot of things that she's very passionate about. So when she writes Sapphire down and she writes that income level down there, it's not because she wants to buy a big house. It's because she wants to be able to give back. So everything that you're doing as you're setting the goals, for those of you that are scared to set goals, go back to the why. When I am at this level and I have this amount of extra income coming in, I can help somebody, or I can help my child do this, or how will I feel when I've paid off that $2,000 debt or that $20,000 debt, or when I can pay cash for the new AC unit instead of having to take out another loan.
And one of the things that they talked about specifically is that your why should not be stagnant. If your why is, I need to make $500 a month so that I can get this thing paid off. Okay, you're making $500 a month. What's your next why? So your why is ever changing. My why when I started was to get my blood sugars balanced. Well, as soon as that happened, my why needed to change. Otherwise, I wouldn't get up every day and want to do it. So that's and I think, Abby, instead of having them do it tonight, I say we set up a call and do a why. One of the things that Jennifer Leaf said is that she does a why Zoom call. It's about 20 minutes maybe, and people just get on and they share their why, and she helps dig deeper, because we don't really, your why is probably not a financial one. It's probably not a financial issue. It's the thing that's happening because of the financial issue.
Yeah.
If your why is strictly financial, then we want to dig deeper and say, what would the money do for you? So if I handed you all of that money that you need, do you need to still have it? No, because The why is different. It's not the finance piece, or it's not the dollar amount. So we want you to really think about that. And here's what's going to help. The more we each know this team, and we have a culture of loving each other and saying, well, I know that Autumn wants to be able to retire herself and be able to, take the kids down to Disney and not have to worry about. So it's not about the money, it's about the family time. She's not saying I want to go to Disney, she's saying I want family time. And I want to have great family time. So when we know that, it's easier to encourage and say, don't give up. Remember, you are so close to this goal, this thing that you want, that why. And why would she continue? Because every time you stop, every time you take 2 weeks off, you almost have to go back to the beginning to build your belief. You almost forget what it's like to sign a new ambassador. Guys, most of you on this team, directly under Abbi, you have 8 new ambassadors on your team as of today. 8 brand new. It was popping up all over my email today. So I'm so proud of you guys for still talking it up and still moving forward with it. There's going to be more training that's going to come to you about making sure that people are staying. And how we're going to do that, we're going to build a culture. We want them to have the Plexus Worldwide experience, that they don't want to quit. They want to be a part of this thing that is growing bigger than any of us can be. I want to leave you with something real quick. I want you to picture that you are climbing a ladder, and it's leaning up against a really tall wall, and you can't see what's at the top of that wall, but that ladder is there. And every day you take another rung, you take another step. Every day you're stepping up that ladder, because that's what we do. We go to work, we step up with the ladder. So at the end of 5 years, you get to the top of the ladder and you realize that ladder was on the wrong wall. I'm going to tell you, Plexus Worldwide is the right wall to be climbing. You each have a ladder, and it's leaning against almost 2 things. You've got the job that you're doing, and you have Plexus. And you're climbing each of those ladders. If you don't put any time into the one taking you into Plexus, you're going to end up at the top of the wrong place, and you're going to look across and go, man, I'm on the wrong wall. Okay? It's just, if your ladder is leaning on the right wall, you're at the right place, the right time, the right products. And this company, when I left that building, I thought, oh my gosh, if I ever stop being an ambassador, I'd want to work there. I would want them to hire me there, because it was amazing the way they treat each other. There was no just intimidation, nastiness. The boss walks in and quick, act like you're busy. It was amazing. And I hope that you guys realize how amazing this is. That no matter what you do for the next 5 or 10 years, if you stay in the business where you are exactly, I don't know if you're going to reach the answer to that why. If it took you 10 years to get to Emerald, it's a lot better than it is 10 years and finding out that no job security, or that you end up in the wrong place. This company, absolutely amazing. The other thing, the scientist looked at me and he said, what's your wish list? If you could have a product, what would you want? I was like,
I want you to ask that question on our, but can you post that question, Wendy? I want to hear everybody's thoughts on what their wish list is. What products do we want Plexus to look at?
In the group,
yeah.
What would be your
not here, in the team page, yeah.
On the team page, he asked me, what would be the wish list? What products would you like? And I was just dumbfounded. I was like, I don't know. He was like, well,
but that's the thing, is they care. They everything that they're already doing are the things that they hear us say. I mean, we said that on the convention call, the wrap-up call from Team Legacy. I wanted to add 2 things to what you say, and then we'll just do a final wrap-up. So I just saw something posted on Facebook this past week with 2 friends that I have who are driving cars for another company, and they seemed younger to me. So I was like, when I first met them, I was like, wow, they did really good for their company. They're driving their little signature cars. Well, they're best friends. The one friend posted, and she said, happy 13th anniversary as a blank consultant with the company. Can't wait till we get to the national level. Hopefully we'll get there this year. 13 years. I know this company because we have diamonds in this company who were with that company 13, 14, 15, 20 years. Never made it to those top levels because they were with the wrong ladder. There's another one, I get an email list. She's still trying to, I think she's in her 8th or 9th year with her company. She's like, maybe this is the year I'll get my Mercedes. And I'm like, you know, and you just have to wonder. So you are with the right company. You know, be secure in that. And, you know, just what Wendy said, it just really builds your belief. In terms of the why, our next week's call will be our welcome call. All these new people, we want to get them on this call, just go over products. We want to hear, we want you guys available on those calls, even if you haven't sponsored somebody or your person's on there, so we can say to you, hey, Emily, can you tell us what your experience was? Or, hey, Judy, can you share a little bit about, you know, your experience? Because we want people to have that team culture. And when we do our why call, which will probably be the week after that, we want y'all to know each other's why. Like, I'm looking and I know a lot of your whys because I've asked you, I've heard you, you know, I've asked you to share on team calls. We want you to know each other's so you can cheer it on. If you see, you know, Amber make a post and she's sharing something, you're going to, on her Facebook, you can go, oh my gosh, yay, Amber, she's going towards that why. And that just builds so much confidence that they have your back and you have their back. So thank you guys so much for getting on this call. We are real excited. We have 1 week, you know, rest of this week to really get momentum going on through July. What you're doing right now is going to go into July, into August, into September. Believe it or not, your fall is being written right now with what you're doing here in the summer. So even if you're only able to put 10 or 20 minutes a day into it, do it. I was on vacation last week. I was still answering messages. You guys saw me on the team page. You always saw me on Facebook, still posting pictures of my family. I'm still out of town. You can balance this. You can still have a great summer. Don't stop, because trying to start a train again after it stopped is, trust me, not fun. So best of luck to y'all. Please get those three-way messages going again. If you want to, you know, get Wendy on them. If you want to have some people you're trying to close the deal with, please, please, please get us in on them, and we'll help you do that. Wendy, do you have one more thing to say? We're running over.
Real quick, just about your Facebook posts. If it's not showing up in people's feeds, you know that you've got to have comments and likes on it. Make sure that's not real salesy, but you want to have comments and likes. So I don't go and look. When I'm looking, one of the things that they talk with Emeralds about is personal to us, as in time management. I now have this, you know, a team of there's like 1,220 people on my team. So how can I go back and how can I go and check everybody's comments and their Facebook posts and all that kind of stuff? I can't. So the best way to do that is that if you would like comments on your posts, go into Abby's, you know, the page and say, hey, and actually show what that post is so that we know what
share it. Click share.
Yeah,
you click share on your post, you put it in there. Don't do it every day. Don't do it every week. But if you have something where you're sharing something really incredible about, you know, an update from the doctor or something like that, yeah, put it in there.
Right. So not everything, but you pick one that you say, I really want this one to show up a lot. The other thing is, if you have something specific, you know, you can send me a private message and say, hey, can you go comment on this one? Because again, I'm not going to go in and look at all the team pages. Right. I just don't have that much time right now.
And partner up with each other too. Some of y'all do a great job of just always looking at each other's. You got 3 or 4 people, you always comment on theirs, they always comment on yours. So that's awesome.
Just make sure that you're doing that. And liking a post is not always enough. So if you have a team of 3 or 4 people that you're supporting each other, grab your sideline brother and sister and just say, hey, we're going to do comments today. And that way you can go in and just, it doesn't have to be anything long. It's just that you're bumping it back up so that people are going to see it.
And validating it instead of just yay. Sometimes mine are yay because I'm sorry, I'm commenting on like 50 posts.
Right.
But, you know, hey, that's so great. I'm so proud of you. I remember how you were 6 months ago. You know, you've really changed a lot or something like that. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, y'all, because we've gone over a little bit. I just wanted to do a shout out to Jason back on the mainland.
Yeah.
He's been out serving our country for a while, out on a boat in the middle of where he can't tell everybody. But he is back here in America, so we're glad to see you on the call. And everybody, like I said, get us in those 3-way messages. Reach out. Let's end this month strong. Real excited for everybody. Thank you so much for being on, everybody. Bye.
See you guys.